Nearly 1 month after the shooting massacre in Parkland, Florida, lawmakers in Washington state are still debating how to prevent future school shooting tragedies from happening here.
We need to report back to the legislature by December 1.
Republican State Senator Steve O'Ban secured funding in the recently passed supplemental budget for a special task force comprised of education officials, the AG's office, the ACLU, and others to try and figure out how to best identify and intervene against potential threats.
What I hope to come out of this is not just a lot of good ideas. I want to have an actual plan, and that may involve necessary legislation to give authority to local law enforcement to take that information and act on it.
Senator O'Ban points to the breakdown in communication in Florida, the red flags that were reported without follow-up.
You can't just have a place that gets this information and does nothing with it. It has to have the expertise and the authority to collect that information, connect the dots, and then act on it.
Now, we know what needs to be done. We need better mental health, we need more school resource officers, and we need to ensure that young people who are unstable don't have access to firearms and can go in and shoot up a school.
A Democratic State Senator David Frocht still surprised and frustrated that his school safety and enhanced background check bill stalled this legislative session despite a Democratic majority in Olympia. It passed a Senate committee but never made it to the floor.
I still think if we had put it on the floor, it would have had a very good chance to pass.
Senator Frocht's bill would have increased the age to buy semi-automatic rifles to 21 and would have required an additional state background check for buyers similar to what's now required for a handgun. Proposals that received intense pushback from supporters of the Second Amendment.
Those are so controversial. Let's do what we can now on a consensus basis to protect kids.
But the debate over gun and school safety appears far from finished. What lawmakers can agree upon, something more needs to be done.
I think this is one of the fundamental issues of our time.
Another point that's come up a few times recently, people and families in Washington state may not be aware of the Extreme Risk Protection Order law now on the books in Washington. That's the measure that was passed by voters in 2016, where you can petition a court to temporarily block a loved one's access to firearms if they appear to be a threat to themselves or others, if there's evidence for that. Florida lawmakers last week passed a similar measure as part of a larger gun safety package in that state that also included raising the age to buy rifles to 21 years of age in Florida.